25 years ago, on 23rd of July 1983, a very sad incident took place in Sri Lanka. That was the killing of innocent Tamil civilians and looting of their properties by a rampaging mob. Now, the reasons any reasonable person would condemn this barbaric act. But what is not known by many people is the real background to this story. A few days prior to this incident, in Jaffna in the north of the country, the Tamil Tigers, which had been described by the FBI as the most ruthless terrorist organization in the world, carried out the killing of 13 soldiers. Having injured the 13 soldiers, they deliberately provoked the people by even chopping the hands of the injured soldiers. They even went to the extent of removing the wedding rings worn by those soldiers. When the story came to Colombo of this act of provocation by the Tamil Tigers, the people were naturally angered. But then what many people didn't understand is the plan of the Tamil Tigers was to deliberately provoke the Sinhala people. And by a strange coincidence, the world media was also present in Colombo and other areas.
The main streets are in very bad state, completely burnt out. And what was interesting is that the army seemed to stop local people going in to put the fires out. They seemed to be, if not encouraging it, not letting people attend to it.
If the tourists stay away, that will add to Sri Lanka's problems. Last year, visitors spent nearly £100 million here, the highest total on record, and their numbers were increasing rapidly. That's not what everyone expects to happen now.
When we were filming in the port of Trincomalee, there was an arson attack and 3 Tamils were killed, and very, very tense. The talk all the time was of the Tigers.
Up to then, the world media had not paid any attention to Sri Lankan events, but a pure coincidence that they were there. Most of this violence took place in areas like Vellavatta and Dehiwala, where I have lived and my family for over a generation. Even then, we didn't know each and every Tamil house in the area. The Tamils were living quite happily, harmoniously among the Sinhala people. The only people who knew the Tamil houses were the Tamil agents who led this mob. There were this group of people leading this mob, directing them to each and every Tamil house. The Sinhalese neighbors even risked their lives to protect the Tamils and shouted at the mob to say that these are Sinhalese houses. But the leaders, the pack that was leading this mob, had a list of each and every Tamil house because the houses were known only to the Tamils. The reason for directing this mob toward the Tamil houses was Prabhakaran, the leader of the Tamil Tigers, had mentioned that the Tamils living in the south have not supported his struggle and they were quite comfortable living among the Sinhalese, and he had vowed to teach them a lesson. Now this was the opportunity to teach those Tamils a lesson by saying that you are not safe among the Sinhalese. And also, as these Tamils were considered as traitors to their cause, and they were dismissively described as weekend Tamils, in the sense that they only came to Jaffna to spend a weekend and they would not support the Tamil cause. No rational person can have a sympathy with a mob on the rampage. But this incident has been described by the Tamil propaganda movement as a Holocaust or genocide. This is actually an insult to the millions of Jews that died in concentration camps, to describe this as a Holocaust. This incident was a glorious opportunity for the Tamils to come to Western countries. There were nearly 500,000 Tamils came as asylum seekers, and the West were duped into opening their doors thinking of the minority that was being harassed by the majority Sinhalese. One accusation being made against the Sri Lanka is that the Tamils say the police stood idly by while this mob violence was going on. But do you know that at that time, in 1983, the Inspector General of Police was Mr. Rudra Rajasingham, a Tamil, and below him, the 6 Deputy Inspector Generals of Police, DIGs, were all Tamils. There wasn't a Sinhalese high-ranking officer, despite the fact that over 75% of the people of Sri Lanka are Sinhalese. Is it too much of a coincidence that the Tamil IGP and the other Deputy Inspector General of Police did not stop this mob from spreading their violence in other parts of the country? And also, I have personally seen emails being circulated by Tamil groups between themselves to say that actually 83 was a blessing for them because they were able to bring their families and children all to West to enjoy economic benefits. On this one incident alone, the Tamil propaganda machine has been successful in misleading world leaders and the media to say that Tamils are being threatened in Sri Lanka. Prior to 1983, it is of interest for everyone to know that the Tamil Tigers did ethnic cleansing of all the Sinhalese living in the north, followed by all the Muslims. And that was ethnic cleansing was introduced for the first time in our country by Tamil Tigers, but the Sinhalese did not react there. After this particular incident in 83, they have gone to villages and hacked men, women and children in Sinhala villages. It must be remembered that mob violence is not the same as the so-called soldiers of Elam walking into villages at night and hacking men, women and children to death. Even today, these Tamil Tiger terrorists are indulging in an orgy of killing, sending suicide bombers, killing innocent passengers in buses and trains, and also have attacked some of the most sacred places of Buddhist worship, like the Anuradhapura in 1985, and then carried on after that with Dalada Maligava. These were deliberate acts of provocation, but fortunately the Sinhala people have not reacted to this violence. The world must help Sri Lanka to defeat this Tamil terrorism, because it is not only Sri Lanka that is threatened with this, the whole world will suffer as a result of these terrorist activities. And I make an appeal to Tamils living in all over the world that it is time they realized that their future in Sri Lanka lies with the Sinhalese and the Muslims all living together. If we defeat this terrorism, we can make Sri Lanka a real paradise. Thank you.